What's up, dog?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How you been?
I've been great. It's an incredibly sunny day. It's like 80 degrees out, so I can't
Is it
complain.
80?
Not to talk about the weather, but
Oh yeah.
it's pretty nice.
I think it's fine to talk about the weather, especially when it
Sure.
like shifts
When
so
it changes.
abruptly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying that really.
I guess if the weather's the same for like 10 days in a row, and then you're like, how about this weather? It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, everyone was saying it was like a super mild winter, which is true, but it's like it's still cold. It's still not like this.
That's
so
true.
I don't really. Yeah, like my brain doesn't care if it's like 30 or 20. It's like it still sucks to me.
And this is why you were late as hell.
That's why I was late as hell, folks. I was really late for the pod.
It was
unprofessional.
like 45
minutes late. You said everyone's late.
That's true.
But how late are they?
Yeah, usually not 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
Everybody is late to my podcast, though.
Well, I did tell you I was going to be
15.
30 minutes late. So it was only additional 15 after that, which in a way
That's
is...
right. The same thing.
I could have said nothing. So...
Were the trains...
a little bit.
But you were saying you like to be punctual?
Yes, I like to be punctual, but then I'm often not. So it's basically just a way to beat myself up about failing at something.
I'm trying to think if there's something that I beat myself up over that I consistently mess up. Probably cooking stuff.
Cooking?
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm gonna cook this by the book and just make like a good recipe, and then I just add like allspice to like fish or something.
I mean,
fuck it up.
Could be good depending on the,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I often fuck up cooking, but I don't mind, I guess. I'm sort of like, well, this is still food. It's fine.
True.
Yeah.
I fuck it up to the
relationship
point.
with that.
No, yeah, I think I fuck it up past recognition. And then it's like, okay, I need to...
It's not edible.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I wasted some money on this. But, sometimes you got to see if the food is going to taste good.
Right. And often food does, and sometimes food does not taste good.
That's right. Is this something that you beat yourself up over that you fixed? That you're like, good job, self. That was a problem.
Increasingly asking for what I want. Like having an idea to do something or wanting to talk to a specific person or like whether it's like a project or like a personal question or something. And just like not putting myself out there, I guess. It's a little better now.
Yeah.
Like
Do you have you don't have to give a specific example.
Well, so there was like a time where it's like a social thing, I guess. Like I think I just used to be more like nervous. I mean, I still am a very shy, I think at least, nervous person. But like, I don't know, like you're like at a bar and there's like people recognize someone, and there was like a time where someone was like, oh, I want to go over and say hi because I'm a fan, but I don't want to I don't want to bother. And it's true, you can like bother someone for sure, but there's like there's a happy medium where you can like get the hello from someone you want to talk to. That's like a whatever they may be, whatever. Yeah, also the internet. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That was making me think about I was watching Kaye Night Live.
Oh yeah.
Just to introduce the guest this week, folks. This is Kaye Loggins, a musician as well as a comedian, as well as a late night talk show host, and friend and Trump impersonator. Folks. I love your Trump impression. But okay, so I was watching the Kaye Night Live. I haven't gone to them in person yet, but I'd love to.
Well, we've only done 2 so far, so it's pretty.
Shit, fuck.
Yeah, like there have only been a couple opportunities, so I understand, and it sells out quickly. So yeah.
Well, you had Chelsea Manning on the first one, and I was thinking like that's kind of along the lines of like, how did you meet Chelsea Manning?
So the show actually started on Twitch. It was like the Omicron bump, like around the holidays, a couple years ago, and I guess like a year and a half ago now or whatever. I like was just like home a lot, and like living by myself, and I just was like watching a lot of stuff online, and I don't know, like the Twitch culture is kind of weird, I think, and I don't really relate to a lot of it, but I just saw a couple people doing interesting things, and I just started like playing this game Earthbound.
Yeah.
You know,
Ness.
Yeah, Ness, exactly. Big Ness fan.
It's like a funny Pokemon, but it's children, right? That's
Well,
the kind of
it's like it's a Japanese game, and it's like it's the whole thing about it is like the translation was done in like a really interesting way, where it was sort of like this one other guy who kind of had a lot of free reign to change the story and everything. So it's a very like witty game, and like the whole thing is designed to be like this kind of like parody of like 50s 60s Americana, and like the music is really interesting. It's like a kind of a Japanese like reflection of like, it's like a reverse like cultural exchange thing happening.
From like what? Like it's taking like 1950s music. And
So the composers talked a lot about like the Beach Boys and like Brian Eno, and I mean, I guess it's not all 50s and 60s, but like a lot of like dub and reggae and like techno and Harry Nilsson randomly, and like Disney music, and just like all this random stuff. They has like a list of it. So, and I just found this list and found this interviewer there talking about it, and like anyway, I just had this idea to like play a little bit of the game, as people do on Twitch. They play video games, and I'm not much of a gamer, but I wanted to replay this game. You know, I haven't played it since I was a kid. So I just played it, and then I would play that for a couple hours, and then I would like do a segment on like one of those artists and do like a deep dive. So we did like a Beach Boys one, and then we did like a Harry Nilsson one, and like I these aren't artists that I'm like super familiar with, so it was like fun to like get a little bit. Anyway, to answer your question, Chelsea is a fan of the game, and we have a mutual friend who texted Chelsea and said, "Kaye, my friend is playing Earthbound. You should tune in."
Oh, that's cool.
And then suddenly Chelsea Manning's like in my chat. So yeah, but she's really cool. Yeah, we connected online after that. And,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and when I had the idea to do the show, it was like an evolution of that, and I thought it was like a good, a kind of like it's like an Easter egg for like 3 people like who watched that Twitch stream. I wasn't streaming to many people, you know. I would like tweet about it, but it was like whatever.
Oh yeah. I love Spike's joke where they turned to Chelsea and they're like, "Can you keep a secret?"
Yeah.
That's incredibly funny.
Yeah, and it's like cool to have, you know, it's like you don't want to rely too much on just like a guest to like have your material, but that is like, you know, a lot of late night shows. It's like these people are not to beat myself up, but like the host of the show typically, at least now, are like not very good, you know, I think. Or I'm not naming names, but like it's like the writers who are actually doing all the heavy lifting.
Oh yeah. When you think about like the late night appearances that have lasted the ages, it's like you look back, it's like, all right, Steve Irwin bringing out a crocodile, or like Jackie Chan showing some like moves.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of thing or event or big personality
the thing that always stuck with me was like, I was a big Conan fan.
Yeah, I love Conan.
And his like his field segments, really, like he could just go anywhere and it was just funny.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was trying to do with the Times Square video.
Oh yeah. Okay. I love
a little bit. I mean, it's like a few things. Obviously, there's also some like wonder shows in there, and like a couple, you know. But
people, you should check out K Night Live so you know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry if I'm not explaining it enough. But
do you want to explain it?
It's a multi-camera live DIY Bizarro talk show, and it's like green. It's all green screen, and there's like effects and overlays and stuff happening. But it's live.
Is it your friends that are doing it, or is it like Eternal Family staff, or like who's doing
it's
all the
friends.
camera?
Yeah. So yeah, we've had different camera people on it. They're all really great. The first one you were just watching, had Ian Faria, Zach Stone, who's worked on Office Hours East, and Joe Gleason from Home Planet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe films Live Forever.
Yeah.
Which we're currently on hiatus.
But
we're trying to
breaking news. And then we had a couple other people come in, Jake Gibson and
Clown School guy, yeah.
Yeah, and Russell Katz also did episode 2.
Yeah.
But those the first 3, and then Pierce Campion does the live editing. So I bought this like
friend of the pod.
Yeah. Pierce's, and also just saw Pierce's show, teched it last week. Incredible.
Oh, you were teching. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Well, I wasn't running the slideshow. Everyone thought I was running the slideshow.
I saw you had the clicker.
Yeah, I was just doing sound and like the lights. It's fine.
Which of these happy misters and schlifty misters are starred in?
Genius.
Yeah, check out Pierce Campion's. What's the one that's already out? The Beast like of the Past one.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs.
Yeah, just look up Pierce Campion dinosaurs. I'm gonna hold the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I bought this video switcher. So he's like working that with 3 cameras, and then it's like OBS, like the streaming software. So I have I have the whole show like scripted out in there, and there's all the overlays and effects and backgrounds changing, and he's kind of like going through those like slideshow style.
Is it streamed?
It's live streamed to Eternal Family's YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that video you were just watching was like that was the stream when it happened.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then we fix it up a little bit for their website afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, and so
awesome.
we basically like turn the studio Life World into like a TV studio for like a day.
I didn't realize that was Life World.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I didn't recognize it because all
well,
the
yeah.
green
So
screen
we
stuff
do
is
it
so
we
heavy.
do it hot dog style. So we tear the whole room down, and it's actually happening on the left wall. So the green screen's up on the left wall, and so all the chairs are on the right wall facing across. So it's long ways.
Gotcha. For people that know, hot dog style is meat between 2 buns.
No, it's when you cut a piece of paper this way.
Yeah,
or fold it. Sorry.
Right. Long ways.
Long ways.
Yeah. I was gonna say because that's a wide space. Like
right. So we have because we have the band and we have the desk and the couch, and then we have like another third area so the performer can be there. So you need like a little more space. I mean, we could do it however, but I don't know.
Is the band also? I assume friends. I assume you like.
Yeah. So Simon Haynes is incredible, and he has experience doing this. He was the band leader on the special. Without Brett Davis, which is kind of an interesting like parallel. Like there's the continuity happening there with like the whole talk show thing, which is interesting.
I haven't watched that, but I have heard it.
Yeah,
similar, like DIY late night set kind of. Style,
yeah, and I hadn't watched a ton of it before doing this, but I knew about it and had seen some stuff, and I've been watching a little more on YouTube lately. And
it's the premise that he's not in it.
He dies in the first episode.
Okay. So it's like if Conan died.
He's a character basically every time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really funny. But sometimes they just like have it was every week, so they would have an hour they just let people do some weird thing. So that's something interesting too. But I don't know. I do this every 3 months, so it's kind of a different like
quarterly.
Yeah, quarterly.
I
mean, at least so far. We'll see.
Quarterly.
We'll see what I don't know. It might be less than quarterly now, but
Were you a fan of Chris Gethard stuff? Like the Chris Gethard show?
Everything I've seen of it, I really have enjoyed, but I wasn't like a contemporary viewer of that.
Gotcha.
And honestly, like with that and the special, it's interesting like doing this and people mentioning those two, and I feel like a little maybe a bit of like, oh, am I like stepping on, am I doing something that's been done, or like I kind of want to like no, I mean whatever, I can do my own spin on whatever, but it's like
right.
Like large overarching ideas about the show, like making sure that there's nothing that's like, clear, it's just, there's a lot of the same people,
Oh yeah.
I mean, Spike and Nick did like a lot of those, as well. So it's an interesting like continuity, but no one's doing that right now, I guess. So
yeah. It's a void, and it's like,
I just think the camera,
well.
I just think the camera can do interesting things that like, I love live performance. And it's back, baby. Live performance
is back.
New York is back.
I'm trying to like trick you into doing your Trump voice eventually. Have you given it up?
I'm like trying to, but they keep pulling me back in.
That was like hardly it at all. It's like they really.
No, that wasn't it.
I was gonna say that wasn't it at all. Yeah. But it's like
Benny's podcast. I can't do it
because I don't know if it was when I met you or just like there's definitely a while when it was like. Every conversation I had with you, you'd do Trump.
Yeah,
voice.
see, that's not good. I don't want to be that person. So it is kind of a brain worm. I don't know. There's just something
You're good
about
at it. That's the thing.
Thank you, but but there's something else about it. Like was such a like. It's like getting a song stuck in your head or something. I was just kind of like, but that's like, that's not a very like. It's not very ladylike. So, and just
if we can shove that aside, is there a newer one? Is there a new impression or something, a new worm in your head that you've been stuck on? Shit, fuck.
Not really impressions. I've been trying to like work on like stage presence, I would say, not necessarily a character, but I'm trying to just get better at like being like performatively like nervous, if that makes sense. Like there's just some bits that I keep thinking of that require me to kind of it's like clown a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to do like a low status thing.
Absolutely.
Because I think like when I started getting up on stage again like last year, the tendency is just to kind of be like mean, I guess. I don't know, like try to have like a very analytical, competent kind of like take on that thing that's funny, and it tended like a lot of like movie references and stuff, and it's like that's fine. I have a couple things that work for that, but I like just like talking less or doing more like nonverbal stuff. Sort of just a lot of I've stuttered in the past, and like trying to kind of like build on that a little bit because I think that there's something there. I don't know, like
totally. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I've been doing kind of like I've been like doing kind of like this on stage lately, like
right,
like
that kind of yeah. Or I'll like check my phone on purpose even though I'm not looking at my phone. That kind of I don't know. I mean, it's like that's sort of like write a fucking joke, you know, kind of thing. like just stop. It's like a concept more than anything. But I found that there's certain jokes that like work when
you're dumb and low status.
Yeah, sort of, or just like not even like dumb and low status, just like incompetent kind of. Like I want like I'm trying to like.
Well, incompetence totally low status in comparison.
Yeah, or like endorsing the wrong thing on purpose. Like totally. I mean, the whole like the Mayor Watch segment on the show is like that I'm pro Eric Adams. Yeah, that's like the something like that. It's like we love or like that he's sexy. Like just like that kind of thing.
That was great. Didn't we all vote for him?
Right, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So like that kind of thing, but like, and if you watch the second episode, there's a little more of that happening too, I think. But I'm trying to like not make it tied to the show so much, and just like, I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking out loud right now, but
no, I mean, and what is conversation? But the idea, what's I thinking? I'm curious how much you're leaning into comedy and late night, like this specific parody, as opposed to music, or are you doing both, or like what's
that's like a really constant, ongoing like struggle for me because I'm like recovering from this like scene I think that was happening like a decade and then less than a decade ago, that like. I would definitely not say that this was like anyone's universal experience, but for me it was like very stressful in the end, and I felt like I was like chasing this like archetype of like this type of musician. And a lot of it was like electronic music based, and like like DJ culture was really big in the 2010s, and it still is, but like when it was kind of coming back, like house and techno was like kind of coming back. Yeah, it was just like a very like clout chasey, status based kind of like detached, cool, too cool for school kind of thing. No sense of humor, at least the circles I was running in,
for sure.
And like, I just like that's just not my natural state, I guess. So
you're more goofy.
Yeah, and like I didn't really act that goofy, but like I always kind of felt like the clown of that thing because I just wouldn't like. I don't know. There was people who would like even have like anonymous like, personas and like not show their face and stuff. And it's like that. It was just kind of like damaging to me, like as someone who was involved in that. Like I feel like I internalized a lot of the like, so-called like unwritten rules of how to succeed in that scene. So everything I'm doing now is like that's kind of in the back of my mind, and I know it's bullshit, but it's like something that's like really I'm trying to like break out of. So anytime I do something that's like more performance arts based or comedy based or the show, the things that are running through my head are just sort of like, what are all the music people going to think about this? Because with music you can kind of like people think the grass is always greener. Comedians want to be musicians and vice versa. I say like, why are you making this distinction?
That's cool.
But like
shit fuck.
It's like, well, I don't know. I guess I should back up. Like, first of all, I don't really do like musical comedy in the traditional sense. Like, I will do music for someone's thing, but like, I'm not like, at least currently, I'm not going up and like singing a silly song, you know. And there's people that do that really well. You know, we were just talking about Tim Platt, you know.
Oh
like,
yeah, shout out Tim Platt.
Yeah, like can pull that off like no one else. There's a lot of like really strong like singers. I saw Peter Smith.
Oh, I didn't know he.
The other night they like do. It's like the songs aren't as funny as the other material, but it's like very heartfelt and like a very good blend. It's like a cabaret show basically.
Are they LA? I haven't seen them.
Here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I saw some video of theirs like maybe like 6 years ago, and I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
But I haven't like run into them yet.
Yeah. Anyway, so like
Sorry.
I'm not really on that tip right now. So I try to keep it separate. And I don't know. So far it's working out, and I think like maybe people hearing me talk about this, like, and I talk about it a lot, you know, it's something that bothers me, but it's like I think a lot of people are like don't understand the conflict because, and they're right, you know, like there shouldn't be. It's like shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, I guess it's like a vulnerability thing, and like how you're being vulnerable in different ways, and like what success looks like, or like what people I look up to, you know, in respective like scenes, you know, because it's like sometimes like someone who makes really serious music and then tries to goof off, it's kind of like it's weird, right?
Right.
Unless they pull it off well, you know. I mean, like, but and then on the other hand, it's like if a comedian puts out an album and it's like not funny music, it's like not always that good. With some, you know, very notable exceptions. Tim Heidecker is one. Yeah. And like a lot of people of his music too, like maybe that's not their thing, but like it grows on you too, you know. I mean, I think it's impeccably crafted for like what that kind of music it is.
I really like Sirens of Titan.
Yeah. It's all just, and it's all heartfelt and nice, and it honestly is inspiring, you know. It's like
can I ask which direction? Which are you? Do you feel like you're coming from musician who's doing silly stuff, or do you feel like you're a comedian who has a serious music album? Or are we not making that distinction? Is that
yeah,
the point?
I mean, I don't know.
Idea?
Well, comedian's a strong word too. I mean, I embrace it for sure. I mean, I'm literally doing comedy, so I shouldn't like talk trash on that. It's not even a trash thing. It's like there's other aspects to it too, because that's like there's also like film and other types of performance art and stuff, and like that's also stuff I'm interested in.
You're kind of a performance artist.
Maybe, but it's not like performance art in like the academic sense or anything. I just like I just think there's multiple. I don't know. It's the kind of thing where you can say you're an actress instead of a comedian, you know. Yeah. And it's like it's a bullshit distinction, but it's like
you're a late night talk show hostess.
Yeah. Well, that part is also weird. I'm going to Europe next month to play music, and I have a show in France, and they put up the like bio, and it was in French, and I like saw the ticket link, whatever, and I clicked the translate button, and it's like basically just said like a musician, producer, and late night TV host, and I had this reaction where I was like, don't put that on there. But I mean, it's not untrue, but I was like, oh fuck, is that what I am now? I'm just doing this show. I mean, whatever, it's fun. So.
All I'm doing is hosting this late night show.
All I'm doing is hosting this late night show, and suddenly I'm
host?
yeah, exactly.
In fact,
I guess I didn't think this through that.
You're actually one of the only late night hosts in the scene, so it's like, if anybody is, it's you.
Right?
Know? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to take on that mantle, but hey, baby, let's ride.
That's a cool mantle to have. I don't know if I have any specific monikers that are like.
Well, there's also a different skill set. It's like you have to be funny, but it's like I don't have to have as tight of a routine as say like someone who's doing like 10 minutes. You know, like
yeah. Well, you also you played really well with the comedian. Like you did a good job.
But that's so that's a different skill than like
totally.
Like they're coming with the bit. I'm just reacting and keeping my composure.
Yeah.
So that feels like more fun.
Keeping your composure is hard.
Well, it was really hard it was really hard in the second episode because we had some tech diffs, and I was like, I started dissociating. But it was really good because Macy and Theta from Nymphowars were on, and they just ran with whatever they were doing.
From Nymphowars?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny name.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's an amazing show too.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, but they just like I was just kind of like spacing out, and they just like talked for 15 minutes, and it was great. But yeah, it's a different skill set. But I guess to get back to your question, it's like
answer the goddamn.
I feel like everything's like very project based for me. Even like musically before I came back. I did comedy stuff in like college and high school.
Improv?
A little bit. I mean, like in high school, yeah, I did improv, sure. But I was like under the guise of like Thespian Society, Drama Club.
Oh, gotcha.
Stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't like really. I mean, I was an extra in like a Farley Brothers movie once in Atlanta. Like that was about it. And then I stopped when I went to school.
You stopped doing acting after high school? Is that what you're saying?
Like I was like I had a couple years in between high school and college. So I just like was in Atlanta. So I was doing it like then basically. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it was in between. Yeah. It really wasn't anything, but it was like something that like had I not like gone to music school and started putting stuff online and connected with musicians online, like I don't know, I definitely would have kept doing that. So it's just weird now to come back and do it again, like in my 30s.
And you went to college for ethereal pop?
Yeah, I went to college for ethereal pop.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How would you describe your music? Ambient.
This is really the toughest question you could ask. I've
check out Time Warp.
Forgive me if you've heard me give this answer, but the easiest way for me to describe my last record is my friend said it was bimbo jazz. So I'm just gonna go with that.
That rules. That's great.
It's like instrumental music. I mean, for now, I'm writing
I listened
songs.
to it. I liked it a lot. It's
Thank
fun. You. Yeah. My roommate like fell in love with it. Dylan Ballier. I mean, I don't want to speak necessarily. I don't know if that's. I remember him really liking it.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. He was like, "Whoa, you know this person?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. So,
I linked you guys on Twitter at some point. He's Spirit Night on Twitter.
Oh, I think I remember that tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think like it tends to be very project based, and it's like I want to make a thing. And in the past, that was just like records, and I don't know. Some people can hear more of a continuity between the albums, but to me, they all sound like pretty different. And it was sort of like I'm gonna make this thing. I'm gonna make this thing now. And like I was saying, like 10 or 8 to 10 years ago, it was like, oh, I have to make this like dance thing. Oh, I have to make this ambient thing because that's what's, it was like kind of like trying to be on the curve or whatever. I mean, I'm not giving myself enough credit. It was definitely like, the artistic process still. It wasn't entirely like trying to sell out and make like,
right.
I wasn't making pop music for sure.
Crap out the most.
Yeah, totally. It was just very
shit.
influenced by that hustle in a way. Like it rubs off on you as a person. And it's a little better now because I don't care much about that stuff, so I just kind of make whatever. And that's why this record is fun to me because it's like
it's what you wanted to make.
Yeah, well, it's not really it's not like a genre. It's not like it's not like such a specific like the only thing holding the tracks together to me is just sort of like the time in which they were made. There's not like a theme that's like as overarching. I kind of applied the story of it like afterwards.
Here's a thought. Yeah, when you listen to music, you can kind of get nostalgic for the time period you listened to it or who showed you it, etc. Mm-hmm. From making a song perspective, you're kind of bringing a bunch of nostalgia and stuff to it and kind of squishing it into, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes or whatever. Mm-hmm. When you re-listen to your songs, are you getting like a double nostalgia? Or are you getting like the time you made it and then also the
sorta, yeah. I think that comes and goes. But well, like for example, on this record, this last one, it's like there's actually 2 tracks on there that are from like 2014. So when I hear that, I think about that time because it was so long ago, and it's like the way it's mixed in with these like newer ones is really interesting. Even one of them is like literally like blended like first half, second half of a track. It's like skips like 6-7 years in time.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just kind of happened that way. It wasn't really intentional, but like it was. I kind of have nostalgia in the sense of like I wasn't in the best place when I made that other stuff, and it's like even it doesn't necessarily sound sad or anything, but it's like it is what it is, and like it's just being able to have like compassion and sympathy for that version of yourself and like someone a long time ago. But also like when you put stuff out, at least the way I work, like I've heard it so many times by the time it's out that like. It has to be a long time that I haven't heard something until I'm like having a nostalgia sense. And
Right,
mostly
right.
just sort of like my brain is just hearing all the different parts again in the sound.
And it's so close. So
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, if I listen to like a demo from like 10 years ago that I didn't like finish into a track and it's like rough around the edges and I can kind of hear like how I was making something at that time and maybe hadn't advanced as far in some technique or something, like that can be sweet because it's kind of like, oh, like it's like this maybe isn't the best, but it's like nice to listen to and fun.
Cool to see like your old stuff.
Yeah,
I have like a
totally.
video of the third time I ever did stand up.
Wow.
And I think it's a bit different where it makes me cringe deeply because it's in front of people.
Right.
As opposed
well,
to
this
like,
was all in front. I mean, the stuff I put out
interesting.
was
You
on.
did-
Yeah. I mean, I arguably had more listeners 10 years ago than now, just because like the way that the blogs were working.
Interesting. I didn't realize that you've been doing it for
Yeah, the
how
first
long?
time
10
I
years?
released was in 2010.
Damn, that's 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And how old were you for years at home? If you don't mind.
I
I'm
started
curious how
working
young
on it
you
when
were.
I was 19,
Okay, damn.
and I put it out when I was 20. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's also a moniker I picked when I was 19. So I'm kind of stuck with
Time
it.
warp. You kind of got time. You kind of time warped a little bit.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm out of here. Yeah.
It's like when my old
13
AOL
years. Yeah, it's fucking weird to think about. Your old AOL
was warp like ZZZ. WARP.
Hell yeah.
Warps.
Mine was K Trainer because I liked Pokemon. And then I was in like a Yahoo Kids chess chat game thing, and this girl was like Molly Trainer, like Katie Trainer or something, and I like cause you could DM in the chess.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Do you also like Pokemon?" And she was like, "No, I train horses."
Oh wow. Oh my
and
god.
I was so humiliated. I think I changed it after that.
I used
forget
to
what I changed it to.
I used to like sext with people in the AOL group chats or whatever. I pretend I was like a 16-year-old kid named Kevin. I would have been like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like talking to somebody who ostensibly was also lying about something. You know,
Problematic.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think it was probably a more common occurrence than people want to admit.
Yeah, but also
Well,
not like
you
sex.
could
It's
literally
more
just-
like what if we kissed?
Yeah,
Or
I love
something,
you.
that kinda-
Yeah.
Holding hands.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But also, you could literally just go to AOL and click through. It's like chat rooms, kids 1, kids 2, kids 3. Like there was no like. It's a wild thing to think about.
Oh, yeah.
That was just an unregulated Wild West.
I got my whole family kicked off AOL because I called somebody gay and all the accounts are like linked, and but I didn't know what it meant. Like in the, you know what I mean? I was like a
Calling
child.
someone gay. Yeah.
I didn't know. I had no idea what the concept was entirely. I knew it was
Uh-huh.
like a rude thing to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then my parents sat me down and explained it, and they were like, "Hey, this is why you shouldn't say that." You know what I mean? And also,
They were being allies.
yep, that's right.
When
They're-
was this? Because I feel like you wouldn't get kicked off for calling someone gay until like recently.
No,
Maybe
yeah,
I'm
you definitely
overestimating
get. Maybe somebody flagged it or something. But yeah, no. I would have been middle school-ish age is when it. Yeah, so anywhere from however old you are in middle school to the however old you are at the end of middle school. Yeah, 11 or 13 or so.
And now you're gay.
And now I'm.
So.
Folks.
That's
not
just how the
necessarily.
cookie crumbles.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't know.
I short-circuited Benny.
Yep. I came out as bisexual publicly like several years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then I retracted it.
Really?
sort
You
of.
didn't really act on it?
I didn't really act on it. I mostly just like watching gay porn sometimes.
Okay.
So then I was like, but I haven't really. I don't know. I've like made out with some dudes, but I haven't like done anything further than that, and I don't know if I'm interested.
Sounds
so it's
pretty
kinda-
gay, bro.
That's true. That's right.
That sounds pretty normal. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what label to put my ideology in.
I mean, that's still bi technically.
Hmm.
You could say you're hetero romantic.
Oh sure, yeah. I guess I'm not interested in hammering
Men?
it down, or you know what I mean, or
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
yep.
fellas,
How about you? What's your
I'm I don't know. I'm Freddie Mercury. Fuck who I want.
rock and roll?
Yeah.
That's a good label.
Yeah. Freddie Mercury fucked who he wanted. Famously.
That's pretty cool. Good for him.
Good for him, and good for everyone, frankly.
Yeah. More Freddie Mercury to go around.
Mm-hmm.
He rocked a lot of people.
He rocked a lot of people, and then he died.
Yeah. I didn't see the movie.
You don't need to see the movie.
No.
You told me not to gossip or talk trash, but I will say Brian May and Roger Taylor can kiss my ass
Who's
for
that?
the other members of Queen.
Were they not chill about it?
They just, the story is very historically, it makes them look really good. Let's just say that.
In comparison to...
Well, just like it makes them have a bigger role in trying to stop whatever, was going on.
Interesting. Okay.
They like were consulting on the film, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard that's like anytime it's like a biopic, if somebody's still alive, they're just like, and also I actually was super chill as hell and their best friend and important. I was the guy that told Elvis he should do that.
I'm the guy that told Elvis, "Hey, you got a beautiful voice, and you should sing."
Sort of rock and roll.
Sort of rock rules. I'm a rock and roller, baby.
Do you like rock and roll?
I do like rock and roll. Yeah, rock and roll music any old way you choose it.
Is there any genre that you're like that isn't for you necessarily?
It's pretty tough. I feel like the only genre to me is an oppressive thing, I guess. But I think the one thing that does really tune me out is like weenie ass like tri-state area like pop punk emo like punk ska like, and I was like in shit like that in high school, but like there's like even like hardcore or grindcore emo stuff, like I can get into that. Traditional emo I can get into that. Even some straightforward pop punk I can get into that. But when it's just like, I don't know, like NoFX, don't like it. Is that
a band name or is that a type of thing?
It's a band. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like a punk band. It's just very like.
My mom said no beer before dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the Offspring I can fuck with, but like when it gets a little more like weenie boy style and they're just like, it's like no.
I know what you mean.
I don't like that.
I do like some. I
I love
stuff.
punk music. I just it's
For me, I guess my answer is some of like the more like hyper commercial country pop. I have a hard time with.
That's amazing though.
Some of it's fun.
It's gotten
good.
so weird. It's like now I'm gonna get in my truck and I'm gonna go with my wife and then we're gonna drink some beers and it's like a trap beat underneath it. And then we're gonna have a good time. And then we're gonna go down the mountain.
That's fine. I guess that's fine.
It's like what they're about to do every time now, and what they're doing currently. It's like it's like hip hop. They've just made it like hip hop.
That's an interesting take. I guess it's not really like a cool take to be like I don't like country. I do like country, and I do like some country pop. But some of it feels.
You
really,
said it, not me.
I know. Just some of it feels very like the idea of like a really rich guy pretending to be like a cowboy kind of thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I just like it feels really dishonest. It feels really
George W. Bush.
Yeah. It does feel very like
yeah.
Texas oil money.
Totally.
Like,
but I mean,
I
think that's true in pop music and in hip hop and rock and roll.
Oh, sure.
It's about persona. And and that's actually a classist, anti-South, incredibly dishonest and damaging thing that you've said today about country music.
Is that I don't like when people are faking class.
Yeah, you should let them. Yeah, I think as someone who's in the performing arts, you should understand that it's a character.
Interesting.
It's camp. It's drag. Yeah.
That's an interesting take. That's funny.
It's always I mean, you see like the Bud Light thing, and like Travis Tritt is like taking Bud Light off of his rider, and then like they unearth this photo. It's like Travis Tritt wearing like a fucking like sequin like gay ass outfit in the 80s or something.
I guess I don't know enough about this. I don't know who that person is.
Yeah, it's just like country pop, like mainstream country.
I guess for me,
Chris Gaines and
not off the top of my head. I guess I'm not well versed enough in this space.
Me neither, but it's like
Growing up, my mom always had country music television just playing on the TV, and I remember finding it very annoying. pretty often. Like
Oh,
kind
so
of
that's
like,
what this is about.
I think so. Kind of just
Yeah.
a Freudian thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mother had it playing.
Yeah. Or just, and it's like, it was very, a lot of the same kind of like shit over and over again. Very drony. Yep.
Droney?
Like,
I just
Does that make
remember Chattahoochee by what's his face? I'm totally blanking out on his name. It gets hotter than a hoochie coochie.
I don't know. Some of them are funny.
Yeah.
My opinion is immediately shattered. Have you heard of Sturgeon's Law?
Sturgeon's Law?
Mhm.
No.
The idea is like 90% of any medium or genre is garbage,
Yes.
but then there's like 10% that's like really, really good.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that applies to like country pop.
It's a meritocracy. Yeah.
90% of movies, sci-fi novels,
yeah, true,
romance
yeah.
books,
Yeah. Well, it's a big wide old world.
That's
and you
right.
know what else 90% of is really bad? Stand-up comedy.
That's true.
Famously. But everyone only talks about stand-up comedy being bad. People don't talk about music being bad.
The thought in that, I guess I've talked about this a little bit before, is like at the top level, there's some amazing music.
Right.
But the top level of stand-up these days is really bad.
These days, sure.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that's been yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just like the sex factor is not there as much. There's very few, I think, who are able to like break through.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think the other side of it is like that. I think music is because music is more universally like not everyone reads, especially not everyone cares about comedy or even like funny movies or even movies in general, or TV shows or the news. But I think like most people listen to music.
I think that's true.
And it's like a more universal art form to consume. So I think like as consumers of music, we learn like younger, all of us, how to like filter out the 90%. Like if you're like in high school and there's like shows, you like go out to shows your friends are on, or you go out because you're like a teenager and you're trying to go to shows, and you like you kind of intuitively learn how to like see like, okay, this is going to be a bad show or this is going to be a good show. And then like by the time you're, living in a big city in your 20s, you're just like, you have an eye for, hopefully one has an eye to like curate their stuff. Whereas stand-up comedy or other shit like that, it's who fucking knows,
right.
You could like a lot of the shows have bad flyers, but they're good shows. Or like vice versa, like that kind of stuff. And
kids aren't sneaking out in high school with their friends to go see the stand-up comedian
right
at the bar.
Right. And folks, we gotta make these flyers better. Come on. I'm sorry.
Well, we're comedians,
not
not graphic designers.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but something's got to give here. There's some trash.
I agree with that, but I guess I'm gonna agree and also go, because music is so universal, people listen to so much. It's and this is kind of an old opinion, but I like talking about it and thinking about it. It's genreified. It sounds like you don't like genre as much. You think?
No, I like genre. It's like gender. It's like, it's cool when it's helpful. Like
that's interesting.
Yeah, like
90% of genres are trash.
Well, no, that's not. I disagree.
No. I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just adding. Just funny. Apply the law higher.
It is more genreified. True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's harder to get a lineup together. If you're
like stand-up has like 3 or 4 genres to like alt, blue.
But what is alt?
Well, I guess that like alt totally does exist, but mainly just in reaction to mainstream. You know what I mean?
What is it about it? That's the question that everyone is asking.
Totally. I think that's two main answers are just like, are you doing jokes that aren't like classically structured? Are you doing stuff that's outside of the norm of like the form of stand-up? Or is your topical, like, are the things you're talking about outside of the mainstream norm?
So where would you place yourself?
I would consider myself alt. I'm doing, I think, classically structured stuff, but I'm talking about like.
But I think you have an appeal that could please, and I mean this as a compliment. You could do an alt show, but you could also go do like a Manhattan show, and
I appreciate
people
that,
would
yeah.
like, not saying you want to or that it's a good thing to do, but like if you wanted to go down that circuit, I feel like there wouldn't be as much adjustment needed as say like someone, you know.
I am interested in doing that circuit. I do that circuit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
totally.
And I'm trying to bring more of my I want more people that I know to be doing that circuit. I think part of the issue is that it is so siloed.
But the flyers are so ugly.
The flyers are ugly, and the stand up is so ugly too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do about that? I'm not gonna do that shit.
You were definitely alt, I would say.
Sure.
Like certainly. And why like you know, why would you agree with that? You know what I mean? What's your
Well, I mean, I'm doing characters and I'm doing clown and like it's very self deprecating and like I don't know. I'm a fucking weirdo.
No,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, someone was talking about this the other night and they were saying it's like originally it only meant the venue was not a comedy venue.
It'd be like a coffee shop or something.
That's
right?
alternative.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's largely still the case if you think about it.
yeah.
Like all
But
those
like an ice
Manhattan
cream
clubs
shop,
are
yeah.
like clubs. Yeah, an ice cream shop. But even like, you know, whatever. Like I can't think of a place that's I don't know.
I've done a
BCC.
bookstore. I've done a diner. I've
BCC.
done
There's your Tom.
BCC.
There it is. There he is. We love BCC and we love Deep Space and frankly, we love Deep Space Nine. It's one of the better 90s Star Trek franchises. And we love Benjamin Sisko. We love Avery Brooks as Captain Benjamin Sisko and Jadzia Dax. But we love Deep Space and we love taking...
The worm's loose.
We love taking selfies in Deep Space. And we love Union Hall.
So there are kind of what you're saying is these more established venues that are, it's like no longer the case where it's like alt is just in an alleyway or a backyard.
It's in an alleyway.
Yeah.
Well, now it's in an alleyway.
But now the specifically built up venues.
I mean,
that are
as
like
someone who like honestly to be blunt, like as someone who literally was like in New York for 10 years and was doing my own thing and like knew about people kind of bubbling up to the top, but wasn't really paying attention to or aware of like the machinations of the scenes, so to speak, until very recently. Like the distinction is like next to completely irrelevant at this point to me. Because like even in like what's alt, it's like there's still... You have to be, I don't know, for my money, I want to be discerning about how I spend my time. And, like, you know, it's like, who knows? I don't know. It's like just, it's just a bunch of people having fun and people being friends, you know, and it's like, that's fine.
I see what you're saying, but I'd say that's the alt scene. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think, like, I guess part of it's like it's become Brooklyn versus Manhattan in a sort of like the alt just means Brooklyn and
sure, but I mean even within
yeah.
that I'm saying I don't think it's a monolithic like I
Oh,
think that there's
definitely
little
not.
pockets of and people
but
the
like
thing
genre.
the thing that I have noticed that especially is like different from music or at least how I saw the scene a few years ago, my perception of it is that like people are a lot nicer about just like they're more elegant in the way that you navigate the social aspect of it. Like
in comedy versus
in comedy.
music? Oh yeah. Okay.
There's not like grudges, you know?
Yeah, is that a thing in music?
No,
world?
but it's like people avoid each other more or have like weird hang-ups about stuff and it's like you never really hear about it. It's not like public, but it's like just like or just like preemptively judging someone's character because of the content of their art or like the kind of music they make. It's like, oh, that's not what I do, and they're not this careerist hustle type, so they're uncool, or they're not someone that's worth like talking to or spending time with. Whereas I think this, it's like you could not really, you know, it's like go to someone's shows that much or support them much or care for their work even. But like if you're out and you see someone at a thing, there's a lot more like friendliness and
Oh yeah, still the homie.
Yeah, it's like oh hey, how you doing? Like what's up with you? You know, you can share a beverage or like shoot the shit, and it's like it's nice. There's like it's less. I'm not saying there's no hierarchy, but it's like there's less of a enforced hierarchy of like the social order. At least up to a certain point of celebrity or whatever. I don't know.
And do you compare it?
Compared to the music scene.
When you were in music, what was the comment from an outside perspective?
I didn't know.
For 10
I
years?
didn't know. I mean, I assumed that there were like things in the city, but it was mostly just like, oh, there's stuff on YouTube. That was like when YouTube was like, like when Broad City got their show, stuff like that. You know, it's like I would see like, Kate Bryant and John Early videos or stuff like that. It was like there was kind of a thought of like, oh yeah, I guess there are people making that kind of stuff, but it didn't really like register about like
you weren't in the sausage factory.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't really register. It's like, oh, here's how much this is happening. It's kind of like, like there's high maintenance, and it's like they have all these guest stars. It's like, okay, well, these people must be getting sourced from some scene, but it didn't really like. I wasn't thinking about it. I was just consuming,
I mean, honestly, same.
And I was watching like LA stuff too. It's like so it's like
yeah.
No one cares. I guess is like really the no offense to anyone, but it's like if you're not, it's like and for good reason. Like it's not if it's not something you're passionate about, then like who cares? People don't want to like hear about modular synths either. So like whatever. Like I mean, neither do I actually, but some people do.
I remember watching like Pete Holmes Crashing, for example.
Never saw it.
Okay. But so before I liked it. I think Pete Holmes is a very funny comedian. We actually met. But fucking the people he would have in were people from the scene, and I'd be like, oh shit, that's like I wouldn't necessarily know all of them, but I'd be like, oh, he's once again what you're saying, he's sourcing them from somewhere,
right?
So I had the same outside perspective of like, oh, there's some sort of, and also, the show. I did enjoy the show because I thought it was funny. Definitely not an accurate view of the
show,
scene.
yeah.
Totally. But it was like I was definitely like, oh man,
Louis
maybe I'll
was
be
actually a really accurate depiction. Yeah.
Of what it's like to be in
a dad in Brooklyn.
Scene, yeah.
Right. And in many ways, Louis C.K. was the original Brooklyn dad defiant. Yes.
Brooklyn dad defiant.
Yes.
funny
Twitter
phrase
people there.
What's that?
There's a Twitter account. Now I've explained the joke.
Oh,
anyway,
is that guy that's like paid to like tweet stuff?
I don't know he must be getting paid to do something. I don't know.
It's like an account called Brooklyn Dad. He's got like a
Brooklyn
beard.
Dad Defiant.
Yeah. That guy's like
he's
famously
my favorite guy.
I believe he's a shill, if I'm thinking of the right guy.
He's a fucking patriot. Okay.
Fuck. I wonder what other scenes there's like the poetry scene and like
I know poets. Yeah.
I'm curious
Poetry
how
project is really cool. Yeah. I don't know. It's just something like where you're like passionate about something or you're not, and then like social circles grow out of that.
But I guess the question that is impossible to answer question, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. The idea of how much of a scene is dictated by its art form versus like the people.
I think a big amount. I mean, I think that like drinking and comedy are pretty hand in hand, for better or worse. Well, for worse, I think. I think that's like just the venues and the and music too. I mean, this is a problem. Like, especially after COVID, there was kind of like a movement in music to, like, have spaces that are like less reliant on like alcohol sales to survive, because that is like the lifeblood of most of these venues, whether music, comedy, whatever, like any kind of performance. I mean, even like I was at Joe's Pub the other night. It's like that's whatever show, but it's like there's a minimum. You're drinking, you're eating food. It's been like $50. I got like a couple drinks and French fries, and it was like $50 fucking dollars.
This is a music show.
It was Joe's Pub. It was Peter's show.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I loved the food. It was delicious. I mean, I paid the $50, but whatever. But yeah, it's like that's like the lifeblood of and trying to like move away from that. I think poetry or whatever, something like that, it's
getting
like less
trashed at like a beat poet.
Yeah, exactly. Like the poetry project is like at a church, or like they're not they might have like wine on New Year's Eve or something, but it's like it's not as much of a ticketed event as like there are spaces that are being patrons to
come
the arts.
See the best poet in the city,
right? Or like there's people with access and resources that are kind of donating their time or their space to like let people do something, and it's and that's cool. It might make things a little more difficult to like keep it at a high percentage, like a high. It doesn't happen as often, maybe. I don't know.
I was wondering then also. I mean, that's a great answer and a great look at it. I'm also thinking with music and a lot of the people doing like kind of like the cool posturing more. I think with comedy. Just to kind of build us up and be like, yeah, comedy, is that we have the ego deflation as part of it, like built in.
Yes.
Or like, you know
well,
what I mean?
I think that there recently, and this is exciting to me, is that there has kind of been a like renaissance of this. I think like, so I guess big picture, like backing all of this up, it's like I think the big thing about all of this is social media and how social media evolved in like the 2010s and like how we got to a place of like people being cringe on Facebook or whatever and like posting whatever and then having like events and like making the event page and people attending stuff from that and how scenes evolved from that and then basically how we got from that to like Instagram stories or however people, and it's just like, and the way that like personal brand was like very much strong a thing like 10 years ago as it is now, if not more now. It's still a thing now, but it feels like maybe this is just me being more comfortable with myself, or maybe I'm noticing something, but it feels like people in general, regardless of your art like focus, can be a little more yourself. And a little more open and goof off a little bit and be a little more vulnerable. And I think there's a lot of musicians who are kind of like maybe a little envious of that ego deflation and are kind of doing it a little bit. And some pulling it off pretty well, I think. There's some really funny, like Perfume Genius on Twitter, hilarious. Makes really serious music, really funny Twitter persona. Teen Days, really funny online. Robin Hatch, who we had on the show.
Oh yeah, I know Robin.
Really funny, from Twitter. Really funny Twitter account. Doesn't take herself too seriously, but the music is serious. Tim Heidecker. I mean that's kind of the opposite, but like, just like I don't know. It feels like maybe, but I don't know. At the same time, I think like the techno house, serious DJ culture hustle stuff is still happening, and those people are probably miserable too. And like, I just am not paying attention to it as much now, I think is really what it is. I think it was just unhealthy for me.
That's great. You've been able to kind of like detach.
Yeah. I mean, I still love dancing. I make dance music. I want to DJ more. I love going out. But just like the rat race of that scene was like just weird. There's like a scarcity thing that's happening.
The only times I've performed for like music, like in music situations where it's a music crowd, like band, and then like I open, bombed almost every time.
Yeah,
it's like each absolute shit because you're
it's
like
hard. It's hard.
The crowds have their arms folded like in a way where they're like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. And sometimes I feel like they'll still enjoy it somehow. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I liked your set," and I'm like, "All right, man, fucking then laugh."
I was listening to Doug Pound talking about opening for Tenacious D on tour, these huge crowds, and it was really interesting. Yeah, and also, who was it? Bob.
That's a bit different because Tenacious D is a comedy band,
right? But even then, it seemed hard. And then I also was listening to on Office Hours, like Bobcat Goldthwait was talking about opening for Nirvana.
Oh,
and
that gotta be hard.
And Nirvana asked him to perform, which is, I didn't know that.
That's wild.
And that actually like opened up a whole other thing for me about Nirvana. I was like, oh, like I knew they didn't give a fuck, but that's like, you really don't give a fuck. Like that's fun and vulnerable and open for them to like ask Bobcat Goldthwait to open for them. And he like comes in he like flies in like on a wire thing.
Really?
He's like naked or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't like it, the act. So that's the thing he was saying.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I've also tried to do like a couple routines and bits in my music sets recently to very mixed results. I'll say.
They're not in the same headspace. They're not they're like ready to like, I don't know, be in the music
I
group.
found the good medium is like, I think a lot of people that make similar music to what I make don't really say anything during their performances or don't speak much. And I think trying to do the full bit is a little much, but I think if you can just have some fun banter and loosen it up a little bit, and just have a couple things to like say.
Like Donnie Love.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been
Just
to
like
those?
observational stuff about the room, or like people really seem to like that, and I find that it helps them connect. And also like I used to not stop in between songs. Like I would just have I would have like transition through everything basically, and then just like suddenly stop the end. But now I'm like playing a piece of music, stopping, waiting for applause, saying something, starting another song. And it's like a totally different show. It's awesome.
That's really cool. I've liked when I've seen you like do some soundboard like bits. But,
You saw me do that thing at Tim Platt's show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually like that's kind of what I want to do fairly often on stage for like comedy. But I haven't really had many opportunities to do that yet, just because like the types of shows, like you can't really do that at a mic.
When I bring it, when I do
tech,
whatever my next show is, I'll have you do it.
Sure, yeah.
We're on hiatus because we're gonna reform the Live Forever. Also, we're at an hour, so we'll switch over to the other half soon. But
Patreon.
do you want to take a break, or do you want to just keep cooking? It's up to you.
I'm gonna take a break for a second.
Cool. Rock and roll.
Patrons, like and
folks,
subscribe.
Yeah. So
this is Patreon, right? The second hour.
Second half's gonna be
You
on
are
Patreon.
a sad sack of shit if you don't get on this Patreon.
That's
and
right. It's
listen to
only
the second hour.
$4 for every episode so far.
Nice.
That's fucking 60 episodes.
Can I get a little friend code?
Sure. Yeah. Is that a thing? I'll send you the
I'm
file.
kidding. I'm kidding.
It's buy me half a sandwich. That's what I've been saying lately, because like it's like, you know what I mean.
Buy you half a sandwich. Oh, right,
Sandwiches
right,
are like
right.
$8 these days.
Sandwiches are more than $8, sir.
Buy me like a third of a sandwich,
Or you going to Court Street Grocer? You're going to be spending $18 on a sandwich.
and you get every episode so far, and it's with all the people except for actually, I think I started the Patreon 13 episodes in. So I'm sorry, it's not 60. It'll be like 47.
Add the old episodes back
Fuck.
into the Patreon.
Well, it's the I didn't start doing a Patreon until, so it's like
I need it all. I want it all.
You need that? Okay, I'll go record. Yeah, I'll go record another second half with those people.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Okay. Fucking. Do you have anything to plug?
I do. Well, when is this coming out?
Probably this week.
Okay. I have.
So probably tomorrow or Friday.
Hold on. If you'll bear with me. I have a show at Public Records on May 7th. I have a show. I'm opening for Harvey Sutherland at Baby's All Right on April 29th. It's Saturday. I'm on Laughing at Deep Space with Alex Senti and Merrick Caulfield on the 27th.
Love them.
I'm on Soapbox on 420.
Oh, same actually.
Oh, nice.
Am I? Wait, 420? Yeah. I'm on that.
And if you happen to be a Benny Feldman head in Budapest, Hungary, Berlin, or Lyon, France, I'll be there in May.
Hell yeah, that's rock and roll. I think I do actually have a plug or two, I should say. April 20th, I'm doing a minute-long set on Soapbox, so come to that if you want to see me do a single minute.
You are on that show, right?
Yeah. April 19th, I'm doing Mike Hanford's show at Union Hall.
Oh, nice.
April 21st, I'm doing Philly Fringe, or Fringe Arts show in Philly.
With Spike.
Spike Einbinder's show,
yes.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Fucking, I'm trying to see my goddamn calendar. April 15th, I'm opening for Latest View Ranch. I think that's also Union Hall, maybe. It might be BCC. I'm not off the top of my head. Look it up.
And same day, if you don't want to go to that, Brooke Elliott Does the Social, which I'm technical director of, is Saturday at Life.
Oh, hell yeah. Go to either that or my thing, one or the other. I'm looking far into the future briefly because I do have some stuff. I think late May I'm going to be doing headlining Punchline Philly, and then Chicago. If anybody's in Chicago, I'm going to be doing the Zanies there July 5th. All right, rock and roll.
Benny
Part
has a
2.
Greenpeace calendar.
I do. It's all of my. It's actually all the animals too, or the
Greenpeace.
That's right. Yep. Rock and roll. All right. See ya.